Hello leaders, thanks so much for being here again. Today we have a very special guest, Carey Giudici from San Jose, California. Hi Carey.
Hi.
Thanks so much for joining me today.
Well, it's great meeting you and having a chance to share some of my experiences and ideas. Thank you so much.
It's my pleasure having you here in Mexico, in Guadalajara. Tell me more, are you a traveler? How long have you been here?
Well, I've been living in Guadalajara for about 2.5 years, and I love it. If I can put a plug in for Mexico.
Okay.
Mexico is a much better place to live than the United States.
Okay, awesome.
Because the Mexican people have that passion for good relationships and communities that the world needs in order to move forward. And so it's inspiring and very helpful for me to live in a place with the kind of people who I meet every day, even on the street, or I'm just meeting you or whoever. It makes me feel optimistic and hopeful that we can make a wonderful future.
What do you think about food? It's kind of difficult to get used to our food.
Well,
tell me more about that topic.
I have to make a confession. I love Mexican food, except for two things. First of all, I prefer not to eat meat.
Okay.
And you Mexicans eat way too much grasa for me. I'm sorry. But on the other hand, I can go to the market and buy all the wonderful fresh vegetables and fruits that I want. So that's not a problem for me. The other problem is I will never be a true Mexican because I cannot eat chili.
Very nice.
But other than that, everything is perfect.
Why don't you tell us a little bit more about what do you think about leadership? What's your definition? I've heard you're a writer and you've been writing some topics related to leadership.
Yes, well, actually, I'm a writer and an editor, but for the last 40 years, I've been developing community programs to help people become leaders in their communities. And I've also worked a lot with children. So leadership has always been like the thread that goes through all of my very exciting and unusual activities throughout my life. In terms of what I believe leadership to be, I think it's very simple. I think leadership is about love. It starts with the love that we have for ourselves, and that's the first step of being a good leader, is to appreciate what you have and what you can offer other people. And then it goes on, you need to have some love for an individual and for a community and for a group, for your company, whatever you happen to be doing. The more love that you have for the people you are with, the more you will collaborate with them, and the more they want to collaborate with you. And this is my goal is to help develop people into leaders who are using love for themselves and for each other as a way to develop communities and to build a better future for everyone.
Awesome, thank you. I'm completely agree with that sentence, yeah. And I think leadership is, as you said, is not about a single person,
right,
but helping each other.
Leadership it's an acquired skill. We have to learn how to be leaders.
Exactly.
But not the way we learned about leadership of just a few years ago. In the social media age, people learn very differently. People expect very different things from their leaders than they did just a few years ago. And so the challenge for anyone involved in a leadership program is how to tap into that interest and to help them become leaders of the world that exists now, not what existed 10, 20 years ago.
Right. It's a very changing age, right?
Yeah, we live in a post-industrial age, and yet we're still being taught in leadership programs to function as if we're managing a team in a factory or an office. And that just doesn't work anymore. So it's exciting for me to work with people like you,
Awesome.
who have this vision about a new model of leadership for the new age.
Thank you. I have heard something about your Smile project. Why don't you tell us a little bit more about that project?
Well, I was very happy when I came up with this acronym SMILE. It stands for Social Media International Leadership Education. We use social media. It's international because we use the technology to communicate with people all around the world, and it helps especially young people, but really anyone, to become a powerful leader for their group or their community by tapping into their own talents and by being able to communicate with the people around them.
What do you think the difference is between being a leader and being a boss?
It's like when you go to school. The students who have always done best at school were the ones who could memorize the answers that are given to them in the classroom. This encourages young people to stop asking questions because they are rewarded for remembering answers. The problem is those answers are outdated. They're no longer relevant in the post-industrial age. And so the challenge for anyone is to try to keep asking questions and try to learn in a world which is changing every day. Nothing is the same as it was. A boss is trying to get people to fit into a kind of organization or teamwork that worked, I guess, 20 years ago. It didn't work for me, but a lot of people could use it very well. They learned the system. But it doesn't work now, even as a teacher in a classroom. The kids are coming in using their smartphones, able to get any information they want. They don't need the teacher anymore.
Exactly.
So what is the teacher going to do? And the same is true with the boss. What is the boss going to do with people who can get all of the answers they need immediately? What we need to do is to start helping people ask better questions. And by asking questions, they can grow. They can develop their, what we call the growth mindset, which is really important, and leave behind that fixed mindset that was the hallmark of the industrial age and which is no longer relevant or helpful.
And what do you think is the future of the education, as you said, in a classroom? What all the teachers are going to do in the future?
Well, the best teachers have always tried to help their students ask the right questions. My daughter, my oldest daughter, is a teacher, and she's a wonderful teacher because she's always helping her students, and she teaches in Spanish.
Okay.
But she's helping her students in San Francisco area ask the right questions and develop the right personalities and to become the kind of people who are always trying to find, not to find solutions, but are finding ways to transform the group, the community, the family, whatever they happen to be involved in. How to transform it. People are looking for transformation. I'm not coming to you to get an answer. If I need an answer, I'll look it up on the internet.
Yeah.
What I want is a partner who will transform me and to transform my life and my community and my activities to make them as meaningful and compelling as possible. So to me, it's the future belongs to people who are transforming each other in this classroom or in their organization or whatever they're doing. The future belongs, and transforming begins with having an open mind.
Yeah.
So that's I believe the future of education will be that the children, the students, will be in charge of their own education, and the teachers will more or less be facilitators.
Exactly. Okay.
And
makes sense.
And
yeah.
So SMILE, I call it micro education. One student, one school. Each student has their own school, and they decide what they are going to study based on what they can do well. And the people around them, the adults and the other children, are helping that student develop their talents and keep their passion for learning.
Awesome project. I'm looking forward to see it live. I got one more question.
Sure.
What would you tell the leaders, the young leaders that are watching this video? What's your advice for them?
Well, in the past few years, there's been a lot of talk about servant leadership, about how the good leader sees himself or herself as someone who is the servant to the employees and servant to the people on their team. I would change the word a little bit. I don't think it's a servant. I just think it's just like any kind of personal relationship. So the successful leader has always been, the most successful leaders have always focused on having really healthy, strong, productive relationships with the people they're working with. So my advice would be, think less about the institution, think less about the procedure. Let the procedure take care of itself. Find the right people, put the right people on your team, and then give them a chance to grow and succeed. You know, Jack Welch, who was the head of General Electric, said that his secret of success is to only hire people who are smarter than him.
Makes sense.
So
Absolutely.
the more we can follow that kind of thinking to build teams of people, whatever their backgrounds or technical abilities, if they have the right growth mindset and the right ability to build relationships, they're going to help any leader succeed and to become a better leader, to grow their business or their enterprise or their organization, whatever they're working on. So I believe, as I said, leadership is about love. Love the people you're working with, and the people you're working with will make you successful. That's
awesome.
my goal.
Thanks so much for being here. Was a pleasure. Yeah, thank you again.
Thanks a lot, and keep up the great work.
Awesome. Thanks so much for joining me this time. As you can see, we got amazing people here in Guadalajara visiting us. If you like this interview, don't forget commenting. Let me know in the comments what do you think about leadership. If you don't want to miss the second part of this interview, just go to this video and it's gonna be there. You're gonna learn about entrepreneurship stuff. Hit the thumbs up, subscribe if it's your first time visiting this channel, and don't forget ringing that bell. This is Lider Cortes. Adios.
You didn't ask this, but I'm 70 years old. Every day I do 100 push-ups. 100.
Wow, really? Whoa.